and welcome to Craft with Sarah. In today's card making tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create negative punch art Christmas cards using Design Space. So a negative punch card is one where we're using the silhouette of a shape which has been cut out with our Cricut machine. So it's called a punch card because traditionally you do these with the metal punches that you can get for card making, but as we've got an electronic cutting machine, we're going to be using that instead. So to get started, let's create a basic card blank, which we'll be able to cut out from card to use as the actual outline for our Christmas greetings card. So I'm going to go into shapes and choose a square, and then tick the padlock icon so that I can make it into a rectangle. I'm going to do a 5 by 7 inch card, so I want to make the width 10, which is double 5, and then the height will be 7. So let's just make this white so it's a bit easier to see. And then we need to put a score line down the middle. So go into shapes again and this time choose score line. Once that's loaded, we need to make it the same height as the card, which was 7 inches. And then we want to make sure this is exactly in the middle so that when we cut this out and it's all scored, when it's folded in half, it'll be the same on each side. To do that, drag a box around both of the layers, go into align and then center. And now that score line is exactly in the middle. We need to attach the score line to the base card so that the Cricut machine knows where we want it to score. So I've still got the layers selected. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the layers panel and press attach. Okay, so that is our card base all done. That was nice and simple. So now we can move on to choosing an image to use for our punch art. So go into images and I'm going to search for a snowflake. So when you're choosing images, you want to make sure you choose ones that don't have any little bits in the middle which will fall out. So for example, this snowflake, this blue one, this wouldn't be a very good one to choose because when we cut it out of the rectangle, which we're going to do in a minute, all these little circles in the middle of the prongs are going to fall apart when it's cut out. So that's not a good one to choose. So we're looking for a bit of a more simple one. So that would be a good one to choose, so the very first one. Or you could choose this one, which is a little bit more decorative, but it doesn't have those inner cutouts. So this one would be a good one to choose. So let's go ahead and do that one. Alright, so if you think about a traditional card making punch, it punches out a shape from cards. So this is kind of how that would work. You'd have the punch here, the snowflake, and you just stick it on the card. But we're making a negative punch card, so we're going to be using the shape which would be left after that shape has been cut out. So in order to get that effect, we're going to need to use the slice tool in Design Space. I'm going to move the snowflake over to one side for a minute and go into shapes and choose another square. I'm going to create a mat to go on the front of my card, which I'm going to cut out of patterned Christmas paper. So I'm going to tick the padlock again to open it up, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller than my card base. So I'm going to make the width 4.5 inches and the height 6.5. So that's just a little bit smaller, so I'm going to get a little bit of a border on each side, and then let's just make that a nice Christmassy colour. Actually, I'll probably cut it out from blue card because it's a snowflake, so let's go for a nice bright blue. Alright, so now I want to do another rectangle to go on the top, and this is what I'm going to slice the snowflake out of. So go into shapes again and choose another square. Take the padlock box. This time I'm going to make it half an inch smaller again. So that will be 4 inches wide and 6 inches tall, I think. Yeah, so I can put that on there and you see I've got a nice even border around the edge. And I'm going to make this white again because I'm going to cut this out of another bit of white card. Okay, so now I can move the snowflake on, and at the bottom you can't see it because the layer in the layers panel is underneath the others. So with the snowflake selected, I can go into arrange and then center front, and that'll bring it to the front. I want to make sure this snowflake is exactly in the middle of the white, and I'm actually just gonna make it a little bit smaller. So I don't want it in the middle, all the way down here, but I want it in the middle sort of horizontally so that the space on the left and the right is the same, because it will just look a lot neater. So with my snowflake selected in the layers panel, I can hit Control or Shift on my keyboard and choose the white square underneath, and then go into Align and Center horizontally. And that's shifted the snowflake a little bit, so it's now in the middle. With those two layers still selected, I'm going to go down to the bottom and press Slice. And that's going to cut that snowflake out of the white. So you can see now I've got 3 slice results. If I just hide them and turn them back on one at a time, you can see what I've got. Here's the original snowflake. I don't need that anymore, so I'm just going to delete it. Here's the white snowflake that's been cut out of that white rectangle, and I don't need that one either, so I'm going to delete that layer. The one that I do want is this one, which is where that snowflake's been cut out of the white, and it will show my pretty background paper through the gap. Okay, so this is nearly ready for me to cut out now, but I think what I'm going to do is just add a greeting down the bottom, which I will draw with some pens on my Cricut machine. So let's have a look in images to see what is in there. I think I will go for Season's Greetings. Let's see what we've got. So I'm going to go into operation type. So I think that used to be called something different, but with this latest version of Design Space, it's now operation type. And in there, I'm going to choose draw only. So I want to choose a greetings that can be drawn. So there's lots to choose from here. I think I'll just go for that first one. So let's insert that. And then I'm just going to resize it. And I'll have this at the bottom. So once again, I want to make sure this is in the middle horizontally. So with my draw layer selected, I'm going to hit Control on my keyboard and choose the snowflake layer. Go into Align and Center horizontally. Oh, I think I'd actually got it pretty spot on. There we go. But again, like we did with the score line, we need to attach the draw layer to the one behind it. So I've still got those 2 layers selected. I can go down to the bottom and press Attach. I'm not quite sure why it put that underneath when it attached. Maybe that's a nice little bug with the new version of Design Space. But anyway, it shouldn't actually make a difference when you go and make it. So that's fine. I'll leave it like that. I might just try it again just to see if it does it again. Yeah, okay, fine. That's obviously a little Design Space quirk that they need to sort out. But my card is now ready to make. So I'm going to go ahead and click Make It. And it's not showing my greeting on there, but it does say that it's going to draw, so I'm just gonna have faith that it will work. So this is a very new version of Design Space. It's version 6.0.150, which has only just been released, so I'm guessing they've got a little bug with their attach when you're using it with a draw line, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to change it to A4 paper. And then I will go and cut all of that out, and then we'll see how to put it together. So here are my pieces cut out, and I have cheated a little bit because I'm using a pre-made 5x7 inch card blank rather than cutting one on my Cricut, just because I already had lots of these in my stash, so it makes sense to use them for this card. And then I've got my coloured paper mat, which is going to sit on top. And then on top of there will be the cutout panel with the Season's Greetings down the bottom that my Cricut drew. So you could glue it together, but I like to use foam pads for a little bit of extra dimension to give it a 3D effect. So to start with, I'm going to turn over my patterned paper. You can see there's another pattern on the back, and just add some foam pads. My pads are really big, so I'm just cutting them smaller so that I don't use up as many. So you don't need too much on the back. I think I'll probably do 3 pieces down each of these sides and then 3 down the middle so that it doesn't sag in the middle. So if you left it just like that, you'd probably find that the middle bit kind of caves in on the card, which we don't want. So let's add some nice foam pads in the middle for that extra stability. And then bring my card blank in. I'm just going to line this up so that it's in the middle. And then when I'm happy with that, just push it down to make sure all those foam pads stick. And then I can do the same for the other one. So turn it upside down, and I'm going to add some foam on the back of here too. So again, I'm going to put some in the middle, but make sure you don't put any foam over your cutout shape, because otherwise you'll be able to see it through the gap, and we don't want to be able to see the foam from the front of the card. So I think I just need a couple more bits down the side, so let's cut them. There we are, and then I can peel the tops off of the foam pads and then turn it the right way around, and we're going to stick it in the middle of the pattern paper. Just there, and push it down, and then that is my card finished. So I could leave it like this, or I could maybe add some peel off stickers around the edge for a bit of glamour, or some little gemstones or something, but I think actually this is quite nice to be left as it is. It's simple, but it's elegant and it's striking. So you can use this same technique on any image that you find in Design Space, even ones that are a bit more complicated like this. So this Christmas tree made out of dog silhouettes is available in Cricut Access. If you search for Christmas tree, then it will come up. And you can see this works really nicely because you've got so many different shapes, but they're all kind of coming together to make that Christmas tree. And then on this one, I have added some gold peel-off stickers around the edge of the bits of card, so it's a little bit shiny. And then I've just stuck a pre-made sentiment to the top left and some gemstones on the corners. So that is just another way of using the same negative punch technique with your Cricut machine to make a Christmas card. Or in fact, you could do it for any type of card at all. So if you want to get the Design Space projects that I used for these cards, then they are available in the Craft with Sarah Clubhouse. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video so you can go and check it out if you'd like to access not only these designs but all of my Design Space projects. Clubhouse members also get one new layered cardstock design every Friday, as well as all my ongoing Design Space projects. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut and card making tutorials. Thank you for watching. Bye.